struck the Mississippi Gulf Coast the morning of August 29, 2005, she became the most costly and destructive storm in American history. Just a few hours after Katrina's winds and tidal surges abated in Mississippi, a levee along Lake Pontchartrain was breached, and the flooding of New Orleans began. The story of South Mississippi's tragedy played out in the shadow of the New Orleans flood. Consequently, much of the nation remains unaware of the tremendous suffering and tremendous spirit of South Mississippi and its people. Katrina made its landfall near the state line, and the eye wall passed over the cities of Bay St. Louis and Waveland, Mississippi. As a Category 3 hurricane, winds extended outward up to 105 miles from the center of the storm. Katrina's force produced the United States' highest recorded storm surge, some 35 feet in Pass Christian, far eclipsing the 23-foot mark of Hurricane Camille in 1969. All of Mississippi's coastal cities were blown and washed away. Over 90,000 square miles were affected by Hurricane Katrina. That area is slightly smaller than the size of Great Britain. On U.S. Highway 90 along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, two major bridges were completely destroyed: the Bay St. Louis Pass Christian Bridge and the Biloxi Ocean Springs Bridge. Over 64,000 homes were destroyed, and over 78,000 additional homes damaged and rendered uninhabitable in Mississippi alone. Within days of Hurricane Katrina's landfall, Christus Victor Lutheran Church on Highway 90 became a hurricane disaster response center for communities along the Gulf Coast. By the Thursday after the storm, Christus Victor housed a distribution center, medical clinic, Red Cross shelter, and a pet sanctuary. On November 1st, Christus Victor began housing volunteers in their parish hall and in tents outside of camp for volunteer overflow. During the months that followed, the church's walls were stretched, accommodating the regular church services and activities, providing office space for case management, and housing and feeding thousands of volunteers. Volunteers were also going out into the community and delivering supplies, mucking out homes, and clearing debris. Volunteer doctors and nurses provided medical attention and gave out tetanus shots. In June of 2006, all of Christus Victor's operations moved to Camp Victor's current location. What was once an old swingster factory was transformed into a disaster relief volunteer camp. As of June 2008, Christus Victor Church and Camp Victor collectively have hosted roughly 15,000 volunteers. We have hosted volunteers from every state in the country and over 30 foreign countries around the world. All of our operations are housed under one roof. We provide case management for residents needing rebuilding assistance. We house and feed volunteers. Our distribution center serves roughly 300 families per month, and our construction department heads up our efforts to rebuild homes for local residents. Over 70 miles of Mississippi's coastal homes, businesses, roads, and bridges were destroyed, many of them flattened beyond recognition, and electrical service, cell phone towers, and phone lines were all gone. Preliminary estimates by Mississippi officials calculate that 90% of the structures within half a mile of the coastline were completely destroyed, and that storm surges traveled as much as 6 miles inland in portions of the state's coast. Camp Victor volunteers have mucked out homes, cleared debris, shingled roofs, hung drywall, painted houses, rewired electrical systems, and installed new plumbing. They have distributed goods to the local community, helped with camp maintenance, cooked meals for other volunteers, and provided counseling and spiritual guidance for local residents. As of June 2008, Camp Victor has rebuilt over 1,900 homes, and we have assisted over 28,900 families at our distribution center. Our volunteers have put in over 600,000 hours of labor along the Gulf Coast. Our volunteers have also assisted the cities of Ocean Springs, Biloxi, Pascagoula, and Moss Point with city beautification projects. They have gutted city buildings and rebuilt community centers and parks. Despite Camp Victor's efforts, over 8,000 families remain living in FEMA trailers. Only 25 to 30% of the rebuilding is complete. And there is an estimated 8 to 10 years of rebuilding ahead for Gulf Coast communities. We need your help. We need volunteers.